Welcome back to another exciting, entertaining, it should be fun because we have a delightful guest who I just met and I think Jennifer's going to like because she's a pistol. And we'll welcome back to another episode of A Guide to Poor Parenting, a podcast where me, Jason.
And me, Jennifer.
Have a few drinks.
And talk shit about our kids.
And please follow us on Instagram at Guide to Poor Parenting and on Twitter and Facebook. I actually just discovered it's actually Poor Parent Pod.
Oh.
I don't know. I think it was like character limits.
Gotcha.
So this entire time I've been telling people go to Guide to Poor Parenting everywhere. But
well, maybe that's why we didn't have any followers.
Yeah, that's why we didn't have any followers.
That's what it is.
Well, Miss Jennifer, I know you just met her, and I actually only met her once before, but Miss Melissa, welcome to the podcast.
Welcome.
Thank you very much. It's so nice to meet you here.
Thank you so much. We met last Wednesday, so we're recording this on September 9th, and I met Melissa 3 days ago at our stand-up comedy classes.
Yes, about 4 o'clock on Wednesday afternoon, I decided to change my career from social science policy research to become a comedian.
There you go.
And got signed up for a class immediately.
Love it.
So.
And we were, our teacher, Kim, and who we've had on the podcast before, she was like, okay, everybody go up and do like a minute. Just introduce yourself, do a little mic work, so we can see how you're doing and give you critiques. And Melissa got out there and did a rap.
Awesome.
It was very entertaining.
Right. And it's about motherhood.
There you go.
And smoking weed.
And menstruation. And masturbation.
Hey, all the M's.
There you go. Is it about menopause also?
No, but I need to add that, don't I? I'm like the only person on the planet that actually enjoyed menopause. So, I mean...
No hot flashes or anything?
I liked those.
Oh, did you?
Yes, I really got into them.
Have you ever seen Miss Pat, the comedian?
No, but I should. I don't think I know who that is, Miss Pat. I'm going to write that down.
She's a foul-mouthed, short black woman with huge tits who talks about how much she hates her granddaughter because she's like, what do I got to relate to a fucking 9-year-old? She's like, I got tits that are 100 degrees from this menopause, and she's so funny.
Yep.
You burn 2% more calories when you are having a hot flash, and you also, if you can just accept the fact that you are losing estrogen at that time, your body is burning it up, and this is the time to become a horn dog. That's not the right word for a woman, is it? But you know what I'm saying.
A cougar slut?
Well, for me, in my case, it's the saber, because I'm past the cougar age.
I think once you hit 45, you're clear sailing into Cougar Town for the rest of your life.
I'm long past Cougar Town, honey.
Well, I was about to say...
I'm picking up the scraps.
What was her name from Golden Girls? Blanche. Blanche Devereaux. She was fine. Whatever.
Until her hoo-ha fell out. Nothing.
Well, ladies, what are we drinking today?
We are drinking La Finca Malbec from Trader Joe's.
Yep.
That seems to be one of our favorite places to go right now is Trader Joe's.
So we did this podcast a 2 weeks ago maybe.
Yep.
And we went to Trader Joe's. I'm telling this to Melissa because she's like, what are you talking about? But we, Jennifer and I had gone to Trader Joe's and this guy was like, oh, you're going to love this. I don't know what it was, some wine. So we bought it. And he's like, if you don't like it, come back and tell me. And I actually saw him at Trader Joe's. I wanted to be like, I don't like your wine. It was terrible. But this isn't much better. But
It's
whatever.
okay.
What do you think of it, Melissa?
I really like it. I actually do. I'm surprised that I like it. I did not expect that I would like it because it's not too sweet, not too dry. And I'm not a wine drinker, but I'm having a very pleasant experience with it.
Good.
I guess my wine tasting has pretty much been limited to wine coolers, so I don't have a really, really good strong background in this.
I'm about to say you should have told me you want a wine cooler.
No, I don't want a wine cooler. I am trying to
broaden your horizons.
Yes, and not get the headache, within 30 minutes.
Right.
So. That's probably helped.
It's all that sugar from the wine
that's
coolers
what it is.
What makes
that's
you
what I
headache.
liked about this is it's not sugary, and I can feel that I can. I think I'll be able to maintain a level here without.
Well, good.
When we get done, we'll introduce you to our favorite box wine.
Okay.
When Melissa and I were talking about coming on the podcast, she's like, just whatever you got. You got a box, I'll drink it. I was like, we do have a box. Do something a little fancy, but now I kind of wish we
probably skip the box because it will remind me of my mother and her last 20 years. But it's okay. It's okay. It's all good.
Well, Miss Melissa, thank you for coming out to join us on the podcast. Now, from the 5 minutes of interaction we've had at class, I know you're a mother of 2 adult daughters?
2 daughters, 23 and 25.
All right, so let's back up and hear Mama.
Well, I waited almost too long. So I had to do some tricks, try to get pregnant, tried standing on my head, all that kind of stuff. It was not easy for me to get pregnant. I'm really, could never relax for it. It was something I felt like I needed to accomplish quickly because I was getting older. I was an older parent. 33 and a half when I had my first one, 35 for my second one.
That is a baby compared to what people are doing nowadays.
Yeah.
Maybe so, but think about, maybe nowadays, but there's always that risk. You have less eggs and you have a higher risk pregnancy once you get over 40. And also my husband was much older than I was at the time. So all of those things together, I was not a good pregnant person. I could not wait to have my daughters, and I was insistent that I have nothing but daughters because just thought that I would be better suited for daughters, and I did have daughters.
What would you have done if you had a boy?
I don't know. I just remember my second child, Abby, when she was born. My mother, when she came out, we didn't know for sure. And my mother saying, "Oh, thank God it's a girl." Because I don't watch football. I'm not into the sports. I'm not into that. Well, I ended up raising an athlete after not thinking that if I had a girl, I wouldn't have to deal with athletics. I was wrong about that.
You could have given birth to a delightful little gay boy.
I couldn't get, there was no guarantees in that.
True.
There was no guarantees. And I will tell you that my older daughter's first day of middle school, we pulled up, I dropped her off. I said, if there is one piece of advice I could give you, and I said, I just hope you understand when I tell this to you, get yourself a gay. And I really meant that.
Yep.
No, it's good advice.
Yep.
Very.
Yep.
Every straight woman needs every woman needs a guy.
Yeah.
Yep.
A nice gay. We can be kind of mean though, so you gotta be careful.
I don't think gays got mean until I'm saying maybe until 2000. 2000s.
I don't know. I'm an old gay.
I don't think there used to be mean gays. Were there?
I think there were.
Drag queens.
I was like, you've known many a gay over your lifetime.
I used to think all gay people had to be nice. I was wrong. I know that.
Well, I've never met a mean gay.
You haven't?
No. But I'm also very, I'm a magnet for the gays, so I don't...
She's had 6 gay men living with her.
Yeah.
Not all at once.
No, not all at once. Over time. I used to call my house the house of the wayward gays. They would just...
Well,
I would find them, and then they
so-
would come move in, and then it would just be like, you feed
when
me?
my daughters were in high school, our house was known as the GLBT Underground House.
There you go.
There you
That
go.
was
The Rainbow Railroad.
Right.
Yeah.
Underground Railroad.
Yeah. So my younger daughter played roller derby and was kind of exposed to different lifestyles at a younger age, and then had an awareness of that.
That's nice.
So
25 years ago, you were a mother. Mm-hmm. That would have been what? That would have been late 90s?
1998, right.
1998.
Before.
That's when my daughter was, the year after my daughter was born.
Right.
So what was it like being we didn't adopt our daughter 4 years ago, so what was like being a mother in the late 90s?
Well, I think I was rather a conservative person when she was born. I really do. I think when she came into this world, but when I held my daughter, I became the mother of every child. It changed. That's how it really felt. I felt responsible for every child, so it changed me. And I had a capacity to love that I think I'd never felt, and it was the first time in my life I can honestly say I cried happy tears.
Aww.
I can really say that I sat there. They talk about postpartum depression. I did not have that. I actually cried tears of joy.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good story.
What were you said your husband, are you still married to your husband?
Unfortunately, my husband died in 2018.
I'm
Yes,
sorry.
when my younger daughter was in the middle of her senior year of high school, but we got through that, and we're okay. We're on the road to recovery from that.
So was that planned? Was both pregnancies planned?
Oh yes. One was planned in an office, and one was but the second one, I got pregnant the first time.
Now, when you say it was planned in office, do you mean you got IVF? Or inseminated? Or did y'all fuck in the closet?
IUI,
Okay.
intrauterine insemination. That's personal, but yes.
Melissa's a bit of a pistol, so I'm like, I don't know if she means she went to the doctor or she got fucked in the closet at work.
He made a deposit. I came in later and received that deposit by some kind of
Injection.
yes,
Tricky
yes,
nature.
something like that. Something like that.
I mean, if you, like, I don't know you very well, but if you had come in here and said, oh yeah, my husband told me to come up to work and we had sex in his, like, office, I was like, okay, I could see that happen. You
Well,
seem like that kind of girl.
I had the ovulation predictor kit, and I was not doing well with those. I was not making progress. But after I had my daughter, within 8 months, I was pregnant again. That was really no, it was within 6 months. No, 8 months. 18 months. I'm sorry, no, wait a minute. They're 18 months apart. So that would be 9 months. Okay, I'm getting 9 months. Yeah, so, and it was and when I said I had a positive pregnancy test, because it was so hard for me to get pregnant the first time, people thought I was kind of like making it up, like loony, you know? It was
Thinking
like,
that you were pregnant, but you're not really pregnant.
yeah, that I was just saying these things.
Yeah.
I'm pregnant again. Yeah, right, you are.
Yeah, sure.
You had Irish twins.
Yeah.
So I did not enjoy being a pregnant person. I can tell you that. I know a lot of women are in love with that feeling, but I did feel like someone was inhabiting my body, and it was kind of a very strange feeling to me.
I met a lot of women that said they enjoyed pregnancy that
Really?
much.
My mom did.
Did she?
Yeah.
I don't know, like, you know, all the women I've known, I guess I haven't done a scientific survey, but, like, I just hear so many horror stories.
Yeah.
Like, my friend Lindsay got a cyst on her pelvis in the middle of her pregnancy, and the doctor, like, blew her off. He's like, oh, it's just your pelvis stretching. And so she got to the point where she couldn't walk, and they had to finally lance it.
Oh, man.
And I was just like, you know, I just keep hearing stories like that. It's awful.
Yeah, doctors just don't listen to their patients a lot. It comes to stuff like that. I don't.
Yeah.
They just are like, yeah, sure, whatever. Yeah, you do, and you're like, I know my body. There's something wrong, even though there's a child inside of. There's so many horror stories that I've heard about that, especially with black.
Did you have any pregnancy issues besides being
Yes.
uncomfortable?
So I had to have something called a cerclage. Yes.
What is that?
So I had a miscarriage after I got pregnant naturally the first time, and then I
sorry.
could not conceive, had the IUI, and I was so worried about losing that babe that I think I practically talked the doctor into doing sure that would guarantee. He said that and that was sewing my cervix shut so that I would not have an incompetent cervix. It's kind of a name. They don't ever talk about incompetence, do they?
They do not.
They're just
They
incompetent.
should, because penises are
Yes,
very incompetent.
right. But
Oh,
I
so
had
like
that.
the cervix like entrance was kind of weak, and they were
Right,
making
and so
sure-
if you think about a bag of marbles, that drawstring, that's
Yeah.
essentially what they did. So I was induced at 37 weeks after amniosis to make sure there was lung development, and I was in labor from Thursday until Sunday.
Oh, damn.
They finally decided, because they would not give me anything for pain. I could not labor in the pain that I was in.
That is
they would just
crazy.
give me something for pain. If they would just that I could. And once they were finally afraid that if I did not sleep, then when it came time to push, I wouldn't be able to push. So finally,
Why didn't they give you an epidural?
because they think you need to be dilated a certain amount before you
Oh.
get one, and I don't think that is always the case.
That, especially if you're in pain for 3 days.
Right. Well, it's those the pitocin, the things that they give you to
Make you
right.
dilate. My mom had to do that.
And
yeah.
then with my second child, I did not have to have that. She came at 38 weeks, which was good. I wanted to have early babies too, because the longer your baby in you, the bigger risk it is of turning around. I was worried about things happening, birth injuries and all those things. After being my age, after losing one, I just didn't feel like I had the time.
I bet you were
It
terrified.
was too hard. It was too hard, too much work, too stressful. Yes.
How long was your labor with the second one?
It was not very long. We're looking at, we pulled up at 6:30 and it was over by 12:30. I think.
Nice.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So that's the one that you can't be like, I was in labor for 3
Right,
days and
right.
didn't get pain
Right. No,
medicine.
it wasn't like that at all. No, it wasn't like that at all.
Well, good.
Yeah, so that one was,
Better.
yeah, I guess maybe things got opened up or something. I don't know.
Did they have to do the cerclage or whatever you called it?
Yeah,
on the
they
on the
did
second
that.
one?
They did that anyway. And that doctor, I had a different doctor. He wasn't too happy about it because he didn't think it was necessary. But And it might not have been, but I was just not going to be able to relax.
Yeah.
Until you knew that
Yeah.
they were staying in there.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense, especially after losing one.
Right.
Yeah.
That you wanted to make sure that they
Right.
stayed until they were good enough to come out.
Right.
So
And
we
it was
did.
just, if I'd gotten, maybe I wouldn't have had to do that, but yeah, it wasn't gonna, it was too hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry about that.
So no other
No.
no other health scares for you, preeclampsia or anything like that?
Nope, nothing else like that. Nothing
That's
else
good.
like that. I had really bad morning sickness, so that was another thing. It was actually morning, noon, and night sickness, so that was tough.
For how the entire pregnancy? Or
About half of it, yeah. About half of it, yeah.
It's awful.
Right.
Pregnancy just sounds. I just hats off to all women who give birth. It's like, god damn, y'all are tough.
Well, I do think maybe younger women maybe handle it a little better. Maybe so.
Maybe. Regardless.
Rough no matter
Yeah.
what it
I
is.
just the fact that doctors dismiss women's pain so often is just amazing
Mm-hmm.
because it's y'all have to do so much and put up with so much crap. Mm-hmm. So
Yep.
hats off to y'all. Okay, so you had both your second daughter. She was born
1999, 1998, and 1999. So they were 18 months apart.
Wow, that's a lot of baby.
I loved it. I
Did you?
loved it because I dressed them alike and took them to the mall and to.
Are they still close today?
They're close, but even though they were raised right across the hall from each other, getting the same best of everything, they have two totally different views of life, and have outlooks that are just wildly different, which is just amazing.
How are they different? One of them conservative or something?
I would say one sees the cup is always full and overflowing, where the other one sees it always just running out. It's just kind of empty and running out. There's just
an air of pessimism,
I guess always
stoicism,
maybe, yeah.
So, what was their childhood like from birth to, I guess,
Well,
before tweens?
I got a little weird, and started trying to pick some parenting from some other places. So I went to Buddhism to look for a guide to parenting. I looked for the book Siddhartha. Have you ever heard of the book Siddhartha? It's about the first Buddha. It's okay if you haven't, but it's about the first Buddha and what he did to become a Buddha. And I misinterpreted the book and what it meant. And so I tried to raise my children on what I thought the book was about, but it wasn't really about that. So I thought that my children did not need to be exposed to anything bad, ever. Nothing bad. They couldn't hear news. They couldn't hear watch anything bad on TV. Nobody was going to be ugly to them. No bad stories. Everything was going to be good, 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 good. Magic world, magic world, magic world. And the first time my daughter goes to someone's house, the television news is on, and she hears about kidnapping. And those words were not in her language.
Was it a culture shock?
Yeah, it was. And I misunderstood that the whole purpose of the book was I thought that he became such a Buddha because he did not suffer because he was a prince. No, he became a Buddha because he became aware of people suffering out when he left the castle and became aware of the people that lived in the streets. But I thought that it was what made him so good and generous is that he was not exposed to anything evil in his life when he was growing up.
Gotcha.
Well,
that kind of makes sense.
That's where I got it backwards.
Well, I mean, at least they had a few years where they didn't have anything bad happen.
I wouldn't even let him watch Bambi. I mean, it always had to have a good ending.
Gotcha.
I mean, Bambi is pretty traumatizing.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
I mean, half the crap we grew up on as Gen Xers. This is
Yeah.
oh, good God.
Yeah.
Old Yeller and Bambi and
Never Any Story.
Watership Down.
Yeah. I mean,
horrible shows.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I like them, but
Oh yeah, but they're very they're
drama.
yeah.
Yeah.
You're gonna deal with death today.
Oh yeah.
So
And I think kids should, in a
Yes, I think they should too.
do that.
And especially I felt that way when they went to elementary school and the first time they were bullied and I had not that.
Right.
I could have done a lot better. I mean, I should have practiced bullying my children, tell you. I should have. I swear I should have. We should have gotten through some routines because that stuff happens and they did not know.
Yeah.
I mean, Jennifer and I bully our children so
All
I
the
think
time. I call him an asshole all the time.
Yeah, bullying has been interesting with Kalia because she's such a tender-hearted person, but she mean.
Yeah.
Ooh, she mean. She's like she cannot handle it if you tease her back. But she will be like, we have a friend named Chris, and he made her cry, and I was like, Chris, why are you making my baby cry? And he's like, well, she was making fun of the mole on my nose. Listen, it's like you can't cry about bullying when you're being a little bully yourself.
Right.
So they were. I would assume though there was like consequences, and you weren't spoiling them. Just you were trying to protect them from like negative.
Oh, they were very good. They were so sweet. They were very good. They were very responsive to having, things happy all the time and sharing, and it was really ideal. It was ideal, I think.
I think that's fine. I don't think protecting them from that kind of stuff, especially like, if you relax as they got older, I don't think you should beat yourself over that. Ma'am.
Okay.
So what were their tweens like? Like 12, like 10
Okay, so they totally became totally engrossed in Japanese anime, which I allowed them to do because
Same with Kalia.
because I used a lot of rock and roll philosophy when they were little. Like so, if they didn't understand something, why they couldn't get it, I would say, well, there was this famous philosopher Mick Jagger who said you cannot. He actually repeated it 2 times to make a point.
Yeah,
he said it 2 times. You can't, but if you try sometime, you might find you get what you need. The same with the Japanese anime. It was Bob Dylan and mothers and fathers across the land don't criticize what you don't understand. Your sons and your daughters are beyond your command. The times they are the changes. So I didn't really understand why they were gravitating toward this, but I didn't think since it did not seem inherently dangerous, I thought I should let them do it. And it was a positive experience for them. They learned a lot. They learned a lot.
Good.
Yeah, a lot.
Now, did they grew up here in Huntsville, right?
Yes, they went, we lived in Harvest at the time. They went to Sparkman High School.
Oh, okay. That's not too far from here. How far of a drive was it for you this afternoon?
Oh, I live in Huntsville now.
Oh.
We're a mile and a half from each other, honey.
Practically neighbors.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
y'all
just
gonna
gotta
get to know each
hop,
other a lot
skip,
more.
and jump over that bridge over there. So
Heck
you
yeah.
can pick up a place. You can pick up some snacks for us on the way, and you're right in my neighborhood.
Nice.
Awesome. Close. That's awesome. So what was junior high like for them?
That was tough. Because junior high is not a happy place.
No,
It is
it's
the
awful.
worst place. And if I had to do that one over again, I am telling you, I would not. I would just have skipped those years and go from elementary school to high school and let them watch TV. I think it would have been the same. I'm not kidding you. I don't think they even needed to go to school. That is a time where kids are just psycho. I don't know if it's the hormones or what, and the teachers really seem to hate their jobs in middle school, or at that middle school they did. That was Monrovia Middle School. They were into paddling there, not the girls, but I think that's weird when principals are into the paddling.
Yeah.
I just think that's a little
My high
weird.
school, my mom's like,
Right.
I think they still can do corporal punishment.
but they have to ask permission.
Yeah, they
from
have to ask
parents.
permission.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I just know.
Yeah. What was your philosophy on spanking? Did y'all ever spank?
No, we did not believe in hitting our children. That's how we felt, that people are not for hitting for any reason. It's just not a good thing to do. I'm not saying that it probably does work. It probably does work, but I guess I couldn't bring myself to do it because I mean, my parents didn't spank that much, but it was traumatic for me. I just did, I'm bigger than you, so therefore I get to hit you. That's what hitting says. It's hitting.
Yeah.
Wherever you look at it, it's hitting. Okay.
Yeah. I think Jay and I agree. Well, I don't know. I think we agree on this one, but it's like, to me, it's like, I don't want to model a behavior that I don't want to see in the kids.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm like, I'm scared to like spank Kalia because it's like, well, A, I'm like at the height of my emotions, so hard.
Right.
But also B, I don't want to model to her. It's like, oh, if I'm mad, I'm going to strike out.
Right.
So.
Well, then I also, Wesley told me to hit him because I adopted. So he was like, hit me, get it over. Like, oh, yeah, we're definitely, because my mom did. My mom whipped me one time that I know of. And yes, it was traumatic and I never did it again. But it wasn't something that I grew up with harsh punishments. Like, I had to sit around a table and watch all kinds of kids have fun because my mom kind of like babysat like for the army, and so she would get kids in the morning and get kids in the evening. So she would make me sit there, and then she'd make it extra fun. Let's all color and have some ice cream, and I had to just sit there. So my punishment was a lot worse to me than being just spanked one time and then don't do it again. So I do that to him, and he doesn't like it at all.
Oh wow! So I guess I was always I didn't want to ruin their time. I wanted them to be happy so bad.
Yeah.
I mean, and that may be too much.
But you said they were good, so
Yeah,
they
yeah,
didn't
they
really
were.
need
That
to have
is
the
true.
punishments if
That
they're
is
good.
true. They were better than they were certainly better than I was in high school, and certainly more responsible than I was in college. So what can I say?
Right, you raised them well.
But I did have one interesting spanking story to tell you. It's kind of blue, this little story. So I have the original Little House on the Prairies, the 13 set book, Lauren Ingalls Wilder's books that I got when I was in grade school. The original first time ever in paperbacks. Okay.
Oh, wow.
And there is in one of the books, Paul takes Laura out to the barn and whips her with a belt. Okay.
Whoa.
I did not know this, but my older daughter asked my younger daughter to hit her with a belt so she could know what it felt like.
Oh,
now, I thought
wow.
that was a little weird after reading that. Don't you think that's a little weird?
Well, I guess if you never experienced it, you want to experience what Laura went through. Because, I mean, you get engrossed in those books. Like, if you're a really, like, avid reader and your imagination is really, let me see what this feels like, because I've never experienced it before.
Yeah.
Luckily, it wasn't, that Laura went and shot meth, because then your daughter would have been like, let's go try some meth.
That's true. That's true.
At least it wasn't something, like, really inappropriate, like Paul touched Laura or something
Right,
like that.
Right, right.
So it could have been worse.
Yeah,
I mean,
much
that
worse.
helps.
Yeah, I just thought that was just a bit of, I just don't quite get this, I thought it seemed a little bizarre.
Well, kids
Kids
are
are
kids.
weird.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, they're fucking weird. They do
very
weird
strange.
stuff. All that stuff, yeah. And you look back and you're like, why the fuck did you do that? Like, so, that's probably what she was experimenting.
Yeah. I mean, like, Kalea's such a wimp. I cannot imagine her ever doing that. Like,
But she's been whooped before, so I don't think she would ask. Because her mom has whooped her
Yeah,
before.
her mom was whooped her before, but
So.
I love her, but I'm like, girl, come on, let's toughen it up. I feel bad for her because I'm like, her mom kind of taught her to be afraid of bugs.
Oh, really? Yes.
And it gets a little over the top sometimes.
Yes.
Very
Oh,
much so.
I hear.
And I don't know. I think if we had raised her from birth, it probably wouldn't be as
Right,
bad.
right.
But like nowadays, I'm just like, chill out and deal with it.
And that is true that you do put that imprint
Yep.
on your child, don't you?
Yep.
I did the same thing with my children in mayonnaise, so it's like,
Okay, there's a story there. We need to
Well,
hear
I
that
do
one.
not like mayonnaise. I'm just like mayonnaise, like, oh, get it off the table, get it away from me. And they're just the same way now. So that's I need to do something.
No, just pull the microphone a little closer.
Closer.
There you
Okay,
go, perfect.
there we go.
So
I don't like mayonnaise either, so I understand. I'm not that to the extent of like get it off the table because they like it, but
Yeah.
I don't like
I mean,
it.
it's raw eggs and oil. I mean, what sick?
Well, my mom raised me on Miracle Whip. So
that's even-
that's the extent. That's usually
No.
you either like it or you don't, and I think it's the same for mayonnaise. It's what you grew up with.
Yeah, I just didn't like it.
Yeah, my mom got me into not liking spiders.
Okay.
So it took me a while to get not afraid of spiders.
Kind of like spiders, actually. I like big spiders, not little spiders, but I like big spiders because big spiders you can kind of keep an eye on them. They don't scurry so much as little spiders scurry. I like wolf spiders. I think that's very cool. We had a wolf spider. It's actually
See,
See,
I
Wes-
can kill them if I have to, or trap them and release them if I can. That's the extent of how much I like spiders. I've gone over my arachnophobia
right.
doing this, but it's I can't like have one as a pet.
I was about to say, when you're a mom, you kind of have to, especially
Suck
a
it
single
up.
mom.
You have
like
to suck it up.
Okay, gotta put my big girl panties on.
Yes, and do whatever
deal
you
with it.
have to do. But I try not to have any fears around Wesley because I don't want him to read off my body energy and say, oh, I don't like that because of that. So I have him, if I don't like something, like I don't like something to eat, I was like, you try it, see if you like it. Mama doesn't particularly like this, but you might love it. So that's what I try to go with that philosophy.
Were you girls picky eaters at all?
Yes. Well, one was and one was not. My younger daughter did not like bread or sandwiches or meat or the normal things that most kids like, and so we could never pack her a sandwich for lunch or anything. And not only it was more of a
Texture?
yes, she didn't even want to touch the bread. Like when we noticed it when she was like 3, we went to feed ducks. She was fine with feeding the ducks crackers, but then when we gave her the bread, she went, it was.
Was she ever diagnosed with autism?
We think they're probably, there's something like
Somewhere
that.
on the spectrum,
But yeah. So anyway, she at lunch in kindergarten, I came to visit her one day, and she was sitting by herself, and I was very surprised. And her teacher said she is sitting by herself because she wants to, because she doesn't like what other people are having for lunch. Their lunch bothers her.
Huh.
So she's okay now. She'll eat bread now. She'll eat a piece of bread. She doesn't go. She still haven't had a sandwich, but she'll pick up. She would eat a piece of bread if you said, "Here, eat this." She could do it.
Oh, okay. Huh.
Yeah. She still doesn't eat steak or has never had a hamburger.
Is she vegetarian?
Nope, she's not. This is all just something she did as a child, and I guess I could have tried to force it, but I just was not going to get into those issues.
I was going to say, I don't think any kid's going to be hurt by not eating red meat.
No, I mean, we didn't. We never did the sit down and finish this until you sit here and you get nothing else, because she would have not eaten anything else, and that's the truth. I just felt like she was good enough. 95% of the areas. Why just let her have this one thing,
Yeah, I don't see why. As long as she eats something.
Yeah,
That's all
and
that
she
matters.
actually was really interesting that her choices of food naturally were very good. Her favorite foods, growing up, were refried beans and salsa and chips and popcorn and only one type of chocolate. So she had narrow food choices, but she was very
Well, there you go.
and chose healthy things. So it just was not. It turns off other people, but it never really bothered me. So
Yeah, and I mean, as long as they eat, that's all that matters.
I mean, I always hear about these girls with eating disorders, and especially control. They want control over what their body is. So
this is not
I was kudos to you.
Yeah, it wasn't a weight, or because I told them early on, both of them. I said, if you ever, this is really not good. This is not good to say. Yes, I'm a bad parent. I know it.
You're on the right podcast.
There's no way that you girls with our heredity will even get close to being anorexic. Do not even try. There is just no way. If you stop eating for a month, you might lose a couple pounds. It's just, don't even try. So they didn't.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
I don't think that's bad parenting.
Yeah.
You know your genetics.
I mean,
and,
just-
So how was high school then? Were they
Well,
pretty good?
so my daughter, my older daughter, started dating kind of young. And I wasn't particularly crazy about him, but I was afraid if I protested, that would only draw her closer to him.
Yeah.
And she did eventually break it off. It took a lot longer than I hoped it would, but she did. My younger daughter, she always makes the joke that she peaked in high school, and they enjoyed high school more than anything, I think.
And they went to
Sparkman
High School. Where'd they go to middle school? Was it Sparkman?
Monrovia Middle School.
Monrovia, okay.
Yeah.
When Zay and I were looking for this house, we kind of looked out in that area. Really loved. So were they pretty good schools for the most part?
I think for the area, probably so. One was in band, and one was in the creative writing program. She was actually was the first student at Sparkman High School to ever make a finalist for Poetry Out Loud, but then she became first in the state, her first attempt.
Nice.
Her first poem that she ever wrote on the school bus on the way to school.
Wow.
That morning got first in the state Poetry Out Loud competition.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And it was a poem called Daggers. And she talks about being the poem, and she said that her mother gave her her voice of daggers. So
Come
wow.
on, Miss
Got a
Melissa.
rapper and a poet in the family. That's just awesome.
And a stand-up comic.
Yeah, there
well,
we go.
A budding.
only a couple hours into the career now.
Well, we're putting it out there. You're going to be a stand-up comic. We're going to be like, we know her when
That's right.
she was in her first class.
I've been looking for a writing partner, so you and me, ma'am.
There you go.
There we go. So, any drama in high school? No, like pregnancy scares?
Oh,
or...
no. Now, I think it was in middle school that I found a bunch of little miniature bottles in my daughter's
Of
Alcohol?
liquor?
Liquor?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Mm.
And
Escandalous.
I went, yeah, like that.
He went ballistic, yeah.
And I had pulled my younger daughter, Abby, aside and said, we're going to have to go and find her. No, she hasn't, Mom. I swear to you, she has not. She's been picking up those empty bottles.
Oh, sister was covering for
She actually had been collecting those empty bottles wherever she could find them on the street corner. She liked the little bottles.
Oh my God.
They were empty.
Bless her.
So she liked the little bottle.
Can I have a child like that, please? And thank you. Come on
She
now.
liked the little bottles.
That is
precious.
So it was okay, so we didn't have to do it. So that was kind of funny. Not funny, but it was
No,
funny.
it's fine.
But yeah, you just find all these empty bottles, little bottles of liquor, and she knew right where to pick them up, where I guess people,
Shot him and dumped him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
I think my biggest fear with Kalia as she gets older, because her mom was scared thinking of her getting in high school, and as soon as you hit the high school doors.
So my older daughter got her arm thing.
Oh, Depo-Provera?
Yeah. And I'm not sure that was the best choice. I think it might not have been the healthiest decision really for her. There might have been other better choices than that.
It's also 15 years ago, probably.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, she was 15, so maybe 7 or 8 years ago. I mean, I think that I think maybe just pills would probably been better for her.
How was it? Kalia just started her period.
Yes.
How was it when your daughter started?
Okay, so my older daughter started when she was, I'm going to try to say this right. I'm going to try to say she was 11 and a half. But this is what happened. Within 2 weeks, my other daughter started, 18 months younger.
Wow.
Yes, and she was convinced and still convinced to this day, that it was because of the two of us and the syncing up.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
And that was terrible. It was terrible because she was a little girl.
She's about 9 or 10.
Yeah, 9 years old. And when I told her teacher was just blown away. And my daughter was upset. I didn't blame her.
Yeah, I don't blame Clea because she's 9 and she's on it. We're synced up, so when I'll tell him, hey, I'm about to take my last pill. We're going to start this week because I don't have it as much with me being on the pills, and she has it for like the full week. And she's already had to learn at 9 years old, oh, you can't go swimming unless you, and what 9-year-old needs that?
Right.
That's hard. It's hard.
And so then there lies the question, what has happened here? Why it caused the hormones in the chicken? Is it, what is it? Is it MTV? No, it's not MTV. It's the games. What is it?
Right. And it's just life because her mom started early as well.
Right.
So it's just, it's not anything I don't think in the food or in life. It's just
You don't think
natural.
so?
I don't
You
think
think
so.
okay.
Yeah, I think it's natural.
Yeah, because we don't. I think for Kalia especially, I think it was just because she was developing even before she started her period.
Well-
She got boobs.
Well,
and
that's
she's
called
been-
precocious puberty,
Yeah.
and that's what that's called. And I don't know if it's subject matter that's being discussed is whether it is what's brought this about. So I don't know. Maybe it's good nutrition because you think about like in the 1800s and 1900s, maybe it delayed poor nutrition and poor healthcare delayed the onset.
Well, I do know, I've heard now, I can't quote a study or anything, but I've heard for black girls, they do tend to start younger. I don't sure or not, but
I don't think we'll ever know. It's
Yeah.
just, and then the syncing up could possibly have been for your
Right.
youngest daughter, or it could have just been that was her
It was
time.
really just like it was just like
Was she-
there's also in addition to the birth control, you have got to make sure they know to rip and roll before they rumble because they don't need to deal with that. They don't need to deal with the consequences of that.
yeah, I've been Big Brother's Big Sister talking to my little, not necessarily like sex, but just when it got appropriated, the condom, and they even called me a few years back. You got it, I'll be right there. She gets to that age, and it's like, we're going to have plenty of plan B in the house. It's like, you're going to be, we're not getting pregnant. She's told me before she's a lesbian. Pray to God that continues.
Let me tell you something. My daughter has a lesbian friend who got pregnant and had to have special medication. So it can happen.
Oh, Melissa, don't break my heart.
So don't.
Well, there's the experimenting again.
That's
You
true.
know,
I was like, just take it up the ass. No, we don't have to worry about it.
Yep.
It's God's holy door.
That's right. That's right.
That's the holy hole.
Yep.
So where did your your daughters go to college? Because they're both out of college now.
Right. Well, one is still in college, but she's in the 7-year plan. My other daughter graduated from UAH just in June.
What's a
Well, she
7-year
started
plan?
at UNA and she wanted to be a math and chemistry major, but then she decided to go into social work, and that was at Calhoun. But now she's at Athens State in logistics. But she works full time at the Target Distribution Center.
Okay.
In logistics there.
So she's just indecisive.
What'd you say?
She's just indecisive.
Yeah, but she is. I mean, she is working toward completing her degree actively, and she's she's also lived independently since she was about 20.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're trying to launch our 23-year-old son now.
right. It's hard because it's so expensive out there.
Mm-hmm. I was thinking back about how much it was when I was, in my early 20s. I was like, God, it's so...
$200 to $300 a month rent is what I paid. When I first moved to Huntsville, my apartment was $330 a month, and that same apartment's $1,000 a month now.
Yeah.
And it's not very nice. It wasn't nice then. It's not nice now.
Yeah.
Right.
I was like, I'm renting this shithole that didn't have like central heat and air, had 2 bedrooms. I could see through there was a hole in the wall that I could see outside, so there was no insulation.
Right.
All this stuff. I was like, look, why the fuck am I spending $600 a month on rent when I could go buy a house and it's cheaper to buy than it is to rent?
Right.
And so I did that in my 20s.
And that was good. And you know what's hard is that if you think that way now, the interest rates have gone through the roof.
Yeah.
So it's just like it's one is about the same as the other
Yep.
now.
Yep.
And we're we're becoming a renter's nation. So it's but it seems like it's throwing away a lot of money.
It is.
Those
Well,
big
then that's
rents,
what I was
$16,
thinking.
$17, $1800 a month for an apartment, and some of them only studios.
Yep, they're little bitty, just not enough room for nothing. And I was just like, I have a dog, I want a backyard, I want all this stuff, and then all these people can come move in with me, because I ended up buying a 4-bedroom house when I had one roommate, and I was like, well, I don't know why I did, but now I do, because I have my son, and it's lasted me forever, and it's almost paid off now,
Right.
so it's like,
Good
it's a good decision.
It was a really good decision.
Yep.
It's home ownership during the right time was something to be proud of.
Yeah,
Right?
It's
definitely.
getting unattainable, though.
Yeah,
That's
right.
I feel sorry. Like, I don't know if Justin will afford anything unless we, inherits from us.
Yeah.
But
Well, when you think about the cost of the houses have gone up so much, I mean, ours has almost tripled in value in the last 4 or 5 years, and then the interest rates going through the roof, that makes a 10%, 20% down payment just huge.
Yeah.
yeah, ours is almost doubled in cost since we bought it in 19. No, 19. And I think it's doubled in value almost. We're not going anywhere because it's like we got this low ass interest rate. So I'm
Right,
like, I'm not going
right. There's no
fucking
reason.
anywhere.
Yes, who can do that? I mean, I don't know who can do that. We're lucky.
Ugh,
But
I feel sorry
it's
for them kids.
bad.
I will say, with Huntsville, we are at least better than the majority of the nation because it is still relatively cheaper to live here. If we were in Atlanta or Nashville, it's like, ugh. I have a coworker that lives in Atlanta, and him and his partner probably make over $160,000 a year. Anywhere in Atlanta metro area,
That's crazy.
you move out to Huntsville because you could.
You'd be super rich.
Yeah,
You could buy
It's
a
like-
mansion here.
Yeah,
And that's what's happened with all these California transplants that have come here and purchased with their money and from their house in California.
What about your younger daughter's the one still in college?
She graduated in June. My older daughter is still in college and lives in Huntsville.
She's on the 7-year plan.
Right.
Okay, so the younger one, Jennifer.
No,
Okay,
just-
sorry, Jennifer was just
My younger one graduated in June and she's a software engineer.
Where at?
For Napa Auto Parts, and it's headquartered in Marietta, and she is getting in the process of moving out now,
Okay.
and is going to be moving toward Atlanta very soon.
I was amazed she moved to Atlanta because there's so much software development out here. She just wanted to get out of town.
No, she was, this is really strange. She was committed to not being part of the defense industry or that type of work. That's what she decided. So,
But even still, there's several. I just left a job, not just, but 2 years ago, left a job with a private software company.
Well, she
Surprising.
actually worked at home since June, and they didn't realize that she was not actually there. So she started working with them part. She went on an internship last summer, did really fabulous. They said they wanted her to work part time. She said, "Give me till January because I have some tough classes in the fall." She started working from home in January before she graduated, and she was. Then they put her on full time in June. And then last month, she came there for a meeting, an all-hands meeting, and they said, "Well, where's your office?" She said, "Phil." They said, "What? But where's your office here?" They did not know that she was not living there because she was doing her work on the other side on her computer,
Well, I mean,
getting it done. But she thinks that the move will be good for her to make a presence in the company.
Yeah.
So she wants to try. She thinks she'll be back. She loves Huntsville, but she thinks she'll be back.
good for her.
Yeah.
I was like to say, Marietta, it's like on the outskirts of Atlanta.
Yeah, it is, and it's really kind of a cute place. It's really
so.
cute.
It's
Well, good for her.
suburban, isn't it? I think.
What?
Suburban, like suburbs.
Yeah, it's like north
and-
suburbs, I think.
Well, they've got
Or is
the
it south?
place called the Battery. It's just I can't. It's this side of Atlanta, I think. Maybe it's northwest. I'm not really.
No direction.
I've heard of it, but
Yeah.
I've never.
Yeah.
Good for her.
Yeah.
So-
But sad for you because then she's moving
Yeah,
out.
yeah, because so she just broke up with her boyfriend of 7 years. She's had the same boyfriend since she was 16.
Wow.
And this
Did
was
we like him?
he was very nice. He was very nice. He was always very nice, always very polite. He was very nice, but it was probably a good thing for her that this was time that they could see that they were places. They'd never had another boyfriend or girlfriend before.
Yeah.
And this was a good reason.
Yeah, definitely. My one of my really good friends, she told her son when he graduated high school, "Look, y'all need to break up. Spend at least a year apart. Go, sow your wild oats, and if it's
Right.
meant to be, it's meant to be.
Right.
And if it's not, then but don't stick with the same person because it's just comfortable."
Yes. And she never sowed her wild oats at all in college because it was a tough curriculum at UAH.
Right.
It was very hard. And I was going out partying while she was stuck at home. And so it was difficult, and she paid attention. She did a lot better than I could have done. And she deserves a chance.
Definitely.
Now,
Yeah.
when was she at UH?
She was at UAH,
No, which years?
She just graduated in June,
Oh, okay. Because I was about to say, we may have been in classes together because I was taking grad class, those some of the classes that are like senior level
Right.
and grad classes in the computer science department.
She had trouble with statistics. Some kind of statistics. I don't know what it caused, but it was difficult. Multi-layer statistics or something dimensional or whatever.
Multivariate. That's actually my master's is in statistics. So that's funny.
Wow.
I'm actually helping Miss Jennifer through her math class at the moment
Yep.
at Calhoun.
Yep, and I'm taking accounting too as well, and it's shit. I don't like.
But she's working her ass off and doing good.
I am.
good.
I only have 3 more classes till I graduate.
Awesome.
So I got math and then accounting 2 and then 1 more and then I'll have my associates finally. So my mom had my brother when I was 18. So I had just graduated high school and instead of going to college, I decided to help my mom out and help raise my little brother because I didn't want him to go to daycares where he can't tell us if they've touched him or, I've just heard too many horror stories and I was just really scared about that. So for the first 2 years of his life, it was me and my mom. And then I decided to go out on my own when I was about 20. And I didn't go back to school because I was like, okay, I got a full-time job. I'm hanging out with my friends. I'm partying. And he was 18. He had just graduated high school and he was like, "Hey, will you take me to Calhoun to help me register?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, no problem." And I was 38. And I was like, you know what? I bet you I could do this. Let's see if I can do this because I'm in a good place. I'm got a full-time job. Let's see if I can still learn, right? So yeah, 38, I started Calhoun with my little brother. I registered as well, and he's already graduated, and I've just been I've been paying out of pocket, and work will pay for half of my books and everything, my supplies and the class if I get a C or above.
Right.
And so I've just been working through. COVID kind of stopped it for a couple years. So a 2-year degree has taken me like 5 years. But in the end, I'll have done it with no debt.
Right.
So that's what I'm doing.
Wonderful. Oh, that's amazing. That's another big achievement.
Yeah. So that's what I'm doing right now because I didn't want to be in debt.
Right.
And I'm like, I got a full-time job. Why should I be in debt? It shouldn't be that hard to go to school.
Right. And it didn't used to be. When I graduated from Alabama in '87, I think the tuition was getting close to like $900 a semester or something like that,
Right.
and $200 for
Jesus
books.
Christ.
And that was pricey to write out a check for that much, but it didn't bankrupt your
It was
family.
doable.
Right,
Yeah.
right. But things have changed so much when you think about how Alabama has changed, Tuscaloosa has changed, UAH has changed. All about building and
Yep.
building
Yep.
and building
I was
and
about to say, you
building.
got to pay Bear Bryant his $20 million contract.
Yeah.
Or whatever. I don't know who the Alabama coach is.
Nick Saban.
Next, thank you. And when was Bear Bryant?
But supposedly
Long,
they
long
bring
time
in
ago.
more money than ever. But so I don't know but there's also the board of trustees. It's a lot of people with their hands in the.
Cookie jar.
Pot.
Yep.
Yep,
Yeah.
definitely. And it's just crazy that
It is because it's not about education.
No.
It's not about education.
No.
It's about
And how
making-
many kids have graduated and are not using their degree to have a damn job? They're doing other shit because they can't get a job in whatever degree, and they're still having to pay for the it's just.
Right.
I think it's
Right.
ridiculous.
So
It should
I
not
have
be that way.
I have a friend that's about to start drawing Social Security, and she was concerned about having her student loan payments pulled out of her Social Security. She got forgiven because of the if you've made 20 or 25 years of payments or something like
yeah.
that, whatever that was.
The recent
So she
one, yeah.
got that, but she was facing having because of the high and they only let you consolidate one time, and it was
and life just doesn't let you
Right.
you have to pay for other stuff. You have to live, and it's hard. That's just ridiculous.
And I don't know if people that are older than me really understand it's not the same. It's not this thing about, well, if I did it, you can do it. No, it's
Yeah,
not the same.
no.
It's not the same.
No.
There's a creep in the price and the difficulty, and it's
Yeah.
like you kind of live in a bubble and you don't
Right.
have to deal with it.
Yeah. Are your girls, are they on scholarships? Are they paying out of pocket? How
Well,
do they do theirs?
My younger daughter, she had lots of scholarships. She started out with, Redstone gave her an enormous one, but she got several scholarships, and UAH gave her some too, and she was also a TA there. My older daughter, she did get some scholarships, not as much, but she is also, through her work, has helped pay for her
Well, that's
college as
good.
well.
Good. So they won't be in
Right.
too much debt
Right.
when
Right.
one
I
just
think
graduates.
they have less than $20,000 each in loans.
That's
Oh,
good.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Right.
Considering it's like $60,000 just for like one
Right.
semester.
Right.
I know it's not, but it feels that way.
Well, I think you got that number because Jennifer and I were looking at military boarding schools last weekend. And the $50,000 a year tuition for boarding schools.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, I think this is a good segue time.
Yeah.
So, for all 11 of our listeners,
Hi, Mom.
If you have any funny stories about your kids,
Or if you need some bad parenting advice or have any ideas for topics,
please email us at guidetopoorparenting@gmail.com. Ladies, what are we having for snack time?
chocolate covered Oreos is what I've been eating on, and
gonna
y'all
have one
have
right
been
now.
eating on pumpkin seeds, but Jennifer doesn't do pumpkins, so I am not that kind of white girl.
Zane and I went to Helen, Georgia with my mom 2 weekends ago. And there's a store called like Hansel and Gretel's Candy Shop. And we were walking around. Oh, I want to get something. I saw the chocolate covered Oreos. That's good. And I got you something. How was the chocolate thing I got you? Was that any good?
Me and Wesley and I, have been eating them for dessert. So he gets one and I get one, and so far, so good. I've
Okay.
really enjoyed them, and he hasn't really complained about them, so I think he likes them. He doesn't really react to much. I ask him if it's good, kind of thing. So, but yeah, I've been sharing because I can't keep lots of stuff in the house because he'll just sneak it. So that stays in my room, and I bring it out after dinner. I'm like, get one piece, and I get a piece, and that's what we do.
Have you gotten rid of all your liquor bottles out of the house?
No, but they're all closed.
Okay.
You have all the open ones. He has all the other ones. Are closed, so I would know.
Yeah, Wesley's been her son is getting into things he shouldn't, so we're
really?
trying to get open bottles of liquor over here, and
Yep.
we we've had to start locking our door, stole some money from us. So like, ugh.
Yeah, so he's 12 and he has ADHD, so he doesn't think. He just grabs
Right.
and then, what should I have done? Instead of, thinking about the consequences before he even does it. So
Right.
Yep.
I'm just trying to get, so like all his medicines are in my room. I have a camera in my room. My door stays locked. And I just, have to kind of hide everything from him. So that way he won't try to go into there. Because he opened up one of his ADHD pills the other day and blamed it on me for it spilling everywhere. And I was like, how is that my fault? You're opening it. You know you don't open it. You stays closed and then you take it. So
At least he wasn't snorting it.
well, that's true. That's very, very, very true. But still, it's frustrating because, you would think a 12-year-old would know better, but
Right.
sometimes doesn't act like he's 12. So
Well, Miss Melissa, we've had our snack. Now it's story time. Do you have
Okay.
any fun or
Yeah.
embarrassing or cool stories?
Well, yeah, kind of fun, embarrassing, cool.
What you got?
Okay, so one of the things that this is also kind of, it's bad parenting. I know I should have done this, but I did it anyway. And I knew what I was doing. One of the things that I used to enjoy doing with my daughters when they were, say, in middle school was we'd go through the drive-thru at Burger King. And then we would go sit in the parking lot of Jimmy's Lounge and watch the men that came in and out of Jimmy's Lounge while we ate our dinner.
So for people who are not from Huntsville, Jimmy's Lounge is a strip club?
Yeah. And so I just loved hearing the comment. It just would crack me up hearing their comment that he's got to be a grandpa. Is he really here to look at boobs? Yes. And I had a blast. They could not believe that there were men going there to look at boobs.
How old were they?
That was in middle school. About
Okay.
middle school, maybe.
That is
Yeah. But
hilarious.
then one of them had a middle school birthday party, and I got everyone in in the minivan for the party. And not only did they get to come and watch people coming in and out of Jimmy's Lounge,
Oh my God.
but I let each one of them get out of the car, get a picture of them posing, pushing the door open to Jimmy's Lounge
That is hilarious.
in middle school.
That is
They didn't go in, just push the door open like they were going in.
That
Oh,
is-
God,
Yeah.
that is hilarious.
Melissa, you were a
So-
hoot and a holler.
Have you ever taken them to a strip club?
No, and I think that I don't know that they've ever been. I honestly, my children were more, I don't want to say the word, more reserved than I was, I think.
I got you.
Yeah.
You were goody two shoes.
Right.
There
right.
you go.
They were, I think they were.
I think the only thing that would have made that story even more funny is if they would have been like, "That's my science teacher."
Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Right.
Well, I know you don't know, but I don't know if you know, Melissa, that Melissa and I started our classes last Wednesday, and the Saturday before, Shenanigans had
The male review?
Yeah, the all male stripper review. What does he say?
I don't know about that. That just a little bit. I just feel really diseasy about those things. I don't know. I just feel like
to touch him.
I know, but I mean that polyester and I just I don't know. I don't know.
I've been to strip clubs. I've been to male review shows. I've kind of done it all because I have a lot of male friends,
Right.
And a lot of straight male friends, and then I have a lot of gay male friends. So it was kind of like, let's go. So
Well-
after the club, they're like, we don't want to stop partying, so we would go to the strip club, and I would.
I've
just
actually
sit
had
there
a
and
lap
watch.
dance before at Jimmy's Lounge.
Yeah,
That was in.
yeah. I've never had they tried. We were at a gay club here in Huntsville back in the day called Upscale.
Is that up on Golf Road?
It used to
Okay,
be. Yeah. And I was at a table with some of my friends, and this dancer came over to us, gave one of my friends a lap dance, and then he came back. Another one came back a little bit later, and the husband of one of my friends was given money to give lap dances. And the guy came up to me, and he was like, "You really don't want this, do you?" And I'm like, "No, not really." And he was like, "Watch this." And so he went after the husband, and it was the funniest thing. And the damn the husband's face turned
Yep.
red, and he was so embarrassed, and I just cackled because it was hilarious. But like you can tell when someone's like wanting you to, I know you're gay. Why would I want a gay man to fill on me? If I want that, I just go hang out with my friends because they love boobs. And because I think I've been felt up by more gay men than straight men in my entire life, especially when they've been drinking. Not them, but like back in the day, friends. But yeah, it's to each their own, whatever they like to do. You know, I don't care. Boobs are boobs. I have them, so I really don't want to go stare at boobs. But I really enjoyed the girls that actually did tricks on the pole. I'd go give them money. Now, if you're just standing there shaking your boobs, I'm not going to give you money. But if you're up there and you're twisting and flipping and, dude, you're going to get some money from me because that takes some.
I've actually been to Jimmy's where there have been girls dancing on the pole that did not care whether they got a dime or not. They were there to dance on the pole because they were something else.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
They were not there they were just on their selves.
Right.
You know what I mean? So.
And that's what I would give money for because that was entertaining to me. It's like going to a drag show. You want the drag queen to perform. You don't want them just to stand there and take money from people.
Right.
You're not going to get money from me if you're just kind of half-ass lip syncing and you're just holding your hand out for the dollars.
And I really liked drag better when it was really underground. I enjoyed it much better before it became so mainstream. I am telling you. When you had to wait till after midnight, in a shady part of town.
Oh.
That was more exciting.
Oh my.
Okay. On that note.
Well, again, thanks to our 11 listeners. Thanks for listening to another episode of A Guide to Poor Parenting.
If you like our podcast, please give us a 5-star rating on whatever platform you're listening on.
And if you don't like our podcast, just like when our kids tell us they don't want to do their weekend chores.
Tough shit.
Thanks, Melissa.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Bye.